One of the most racist things that someone said to me is, like, they asked if I, like, as soon as they met me, they were like, "You're from Mexico?" Like, they assumed that I was from Mexico just because I'm Hispanic. Like, every Hispanic is from Mexico, but that's not true.
So I grew up playing a very white sport, softball/baseball. And I was on my 8th grade baseball team at my middle school, and one of the most racist boys' dads who was on the baseball team, his dad told me, "You know, the first time I seen you out on that field," I'm sorry, I did not mean to do that. First time I seen you playing, I didn't expect somebody, like a black person, to be so good at baseball, and I'm pretty sure he said the N-word. And I was just like, yeah, okay. Like, black people can be good at sports too. Like, what?
Nobody's ever said anything racist to me, if that's possible, but I definitely have seen, I have grandparents on one side of my family who I've noticed to be racist before, and I don't think that they've said things outright, but for example, like seeing an African-American man on the street, like one of my grandpas has like kind of made like gestures or hinted that I should like stay away, something like that, like things that aren't spoken but that are implied.
I feel like the most racist thing that's ever been said to me was in the 6th grade in gym class. One of my friends and I were arguing, and he said I look like a monkey, and I didn't know that it was such a bad thing until I told my gym teacher, and he was like, "That's a racial slur."
So I've heard a lot of racist comments in the media. I don't believe I've ever had a racist comment made to me specifically, but I have heard a lot of people who use language in a really inappropriate manner and are not paying attention to how they're speaking about other people, and it's really awful to hear.
This girl asked me in class because she touched my wig, and I think that was like very racist because I would ask her, "Could I touch your lice or anything?"
I think there's the most racist thing that's been said to me is that like things are like, "Oh, you're supposed to go eat like curry," or like to my family or like people that I know that wear turbans, which is like part of my religion, is that like, "Go back to your country, you're a terrorist, you're gonna blow us up, like you don't belong here, do you even speak English, da 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 da."
Well, it's not like, this is the first thing I think of. It's when like people say like, "Oh, you don't have a daddy because you're white." Like, I know a lot of black people that got daddies. Like, just because I don't got a daddy don't mean every black person don't got a daddy.
The most racist thing not necessarily happened to me, but to my brother. He went to a music festival and some guy said, "Go back to your like effing country, like you don't belong here, I'm scared to be next to you, like you might bomb my community," or something like that, and that's not right.
Most racist thing? I went to a trip in New Orleans with an organization, and we were at a cafe just like having fun, eating whatever, and some random guy started calling us the N-word, and he was arguing back and forth with us.
I was playing basketball one time in a neighborhood that I guess there weren't a lot of black people living in, and so somebody who lived there called the cops on me just for me being black, and the cops called, and they said I was trespassing, but I told them I live here.
One time I went with my mom to a nail salon, and my mom's Asian, and I also went with my Asian best friend, and they presumed that they were like my friend with my mom's daughter, with which is just weird because they look nothing alike. They're just both Asian, but they're two completely different. They look different.
I guess I have like this weird memory of someone in 5th grade like calling me a chink, and I had no idea what that meant, but like it kind of like has always stuck with me, which I guess is not that big of a deal, but it is something that I think about sometimes because I didn't even know what that meant, but for someone else to like use that to try to bring me down, it was weird. But
I've had somebody tell me, "Go back to Africa. I wish I could send you back." I've gotten, your hair will never be real like mine is.
So, no one has said anything like racist towards me. That's not really a thing. I mean, yeah, no one really says anything racist towards white people. The only thing I can think of is like being called a cracker. That's not even really a slur anymore. It's just like a thing.
Well, I used to live in Virginia Beach, and like the N-word gets thrown around by everybody so much, and like I didn't realize like how racist and like bad that was until I moved to Chapel Hill. And like looking back, but that was like, yeah, looking back, that was like the most. It was just like an everyday thing. Like it wasn't even one particular like incident, you know?
I think actions speak louder than words. So like the most racist thing someone has done to me is like slammed a door in my face, like while walking into a dressing room, because I was walking in with 2 other white girls and they assumed that I wasn't with them just because I was black. And what made that even worse was that it was by someone who was black. But as far as like words or like derogatory terms I've heard, in my workplace, a lot of people say a lot of racist things. And it's really sad because they don't even realize that it's a racist term. It just kind of rolls off their tongue, especially like the N-word. Like people think that it's fine now, like, oh, it's 2019, like I can say whatever I want. I'm like, no, it's still a derogatory term. You should just let it go.
I do remember when, I don't know if exactly you take this as racist or not, but it was kind of like really hurtful when the Ebola thing was going on. And a friend that I call friend kind of thing refused to be my friend just because I'm black and from Africa. And I was like, why aren't you not friend? Talking to me or hanging out anymore? She's like, oh, because you're from Africa and you're black. So I thought like you probably carry Ebola with you. So I don't want to be your friends anymore. Or like teachers or people like grown-ups who always just assume that I'm a bad kid or bad student, or like right when they see me and they're like, oh, she's gonna slack off kind of thing. So like, those things happens a lot, and I'm just like, okay, I know this, but I just try to ignore it.
I mean, my mom is Cuban, so I see a lot of like guys will like yell at her on the street sometimes and call her like a chica or something, which is just kind of like, it's offensive, but it's also just like kind of scary. And then one of like my very close friends, Alyssa, who is black, like I've seen her get like told that she was a slur, so that wasn't stellar either. It's just very uncomfortable, and it's kind of sad.
I don't know if I can say the one that somebody said to me, but when my grandmother, since I'm Jamaican, my grandparents they studied in London, and I remember my grandma always told me a story of when she was walking home from school one day, and this little white girl asked her mother where her tail was, where my grandmother's tail was. Like this little white girl was like talking to her mom, and she asked her mom, where's that lady's tail?
Most things people say, like, you know, they call you like a coon. I got called a porch monkey one time. It was pretty weird. I've been called a tree swinger, but it's all but like, it's never like, I never take it a certain way because like, it's different.
The most racist thing that, like directly racist thing that somebody said to me, I think, was my math teacher in 7th grade said that she basically pulled me over like when I was doing math tutoring in lunch one day. Because she assumed that I was like not paying attention to class, and she said that you know why like young black males are getting shot by the police is because they don't listen, they don't pay attention. And then she said I'm gonna end up like them if I don't pay attention in class.
One of my jobs, a coworker of mine said that, or an African American walked in the store and they were like, keep an eye on them because you know we like to steal. So it kind of caught me off guard.
The most racist thing somebody told me was like when I was like around 5 or 6 years old. I was told not to speak my first language, which is Spanish, and that's like the main reason why I don't speak my first language anymore.